Representative Andrew Clyde, Georgia's 9th Congressional District. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Andrew. It's always good to be with another Andrew.
Yes, sir. When Obama's own economic advisor, we're talking Barack Obama now, right? We're not talking Donald Trump, George Bush, George H.W. Bush, any conservative that we can pin this on. Obama's former economic advisor says the economy's about to take a downturn. Should we listen to him?
Well, I'll tell you, I think he's telling the truth because as we can see, 8.3% inflation, as the other host said, is the highest in 40 years. That's serious. That's really going to impact people's pocketbooks. I mean, we are seeing almost $700 a month impact on the average American citizen. That's over $8,000 a year that they are losing in their paychecks, you know. So this is very, very, very serious. And President Biden, I don't think either he doesn't get it, all right, mentally, but really I think that what's happening here is he is trying to distract the American people and trying to tell them it's just really not that big of a deal. And if you deny a problem, then maybe you can make it go away, because people will then be looking at something else. But this is a serious problem for the American people.
You know, believe it or not, I'm going to agree with some of the left-wing media sites like The Week and The Atlantic and The New Yorker magazine that say Republicans and Democrats are not talking about the same issues going into the midterms and then eventually the next presidential election. They're talking about threats to democracy and women losing abortion rights. Women didn't lose abortion rights. Abortion went to the states where, I'm sure in California, they're going to have abortion on demand without apology, as they say. Conservatives seem to be more concerned about the open border and inflation. And I would have to imagine those two things that are front and center and affecting everyone every day, no matter where they are more important issues. And Republicans seem to be winning on those issues.
Absolutely, Republicans are winning on those issues because those are the issues that American people care about. I mean, things like what the Democrats are talking about, those are simple distractions. That is not what the American people want our government leaders to be working on. They want us to work on reducing inflation, securing our nation, ensuring we have a strong border. Because if you don't have border security, you don't have national security. Now, all these things are what our American citizens want us to be working on, you know, lowering energy prices, increasing domestic supply of fossil fuels. I mean, these things affect everyday Americans' lives, not what the Democrats are trying to push right now.
You know, Biden and the Democrats are still in utter denial that the shutting down of pipelines and the rescinding of land leases for new exploration and new drilling permits, coupled with the COVID lockdowns that caused the supply chain crisis, are the reason why we have this all put together. They keep blaming Putin. They keep blaming Trump. They're blaming capitalism on some level, even though Biden says he's a capitalist. I don't know about that, but they're in total denial that their policies have anything to do with this. And before you say anything, we didn't have any of this with Republicans in charge and President Trump.
Right. You're exactly right. I mean, the one person they're not blaming is the one in the mirror, because the one in the mirror is in the Biden administration is what has caused this problem. Their direct policies have caused the crisis after crisis after crisis that we're seeing here in America. I mean, whether it's the border crisis, whether it's the energy crisis, whether it's rampant crime, inflation, all of these things are affecting American citizens, and they know that. I think that's what's going to drive folks to the polls in November. I think that's why we're going to see the Republicans take the majority in November, and the Democrats are simply going to reap the reward of what they have done and what their policies have created, and that is mayhem for the American people.
How long? Because inflation leads to stagflation, which leads to a recession, or as Larry Summers says, a downturn. I mean, how much longer do Biden and the Democrats think we could sustain this?
Well, we're already in a recession. I mean, we've had 2 quarters of negative growth already. I think we're going to have a 3rd quarter of negative growth. So it's going to be quarter after quarter. I think we're going to be in a recession, or continue to be in a recession. And the Democrats don't have answers. They do not have a plan. We as Republicans, we have a plan to take us out of this recession, to get our economy back on track, to build a nation that is secure again, an economy that's free, an economy that's strong, and a government that's accountable.
Can a Republican majority force the president's hand on energy?
Yes, we can. We can do it through the power of the purse, through Article 1 power of the Constitution. We in the House can do that, where the Senate cannot really do it, but we in the House can, which is why it's so very important that we take back the majority in November, because we're going to be the firewall.
Just real quick, 30 seconds. Do you fear that Biden and the Democrats are so committed to this that they'll just ride out a government shutdown because they know the media is still going to blame Republicans no matter what happens?
Oh, the media is always going to be on their side, Andrew. I mean, it's a double down for them, and they're not going to change their policies, and they're going to try and drive us toward big government socialism, which is their intent, and they're not going to let anything, especially the truth, get in the way.
All right, Representative Andrew Clyde, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it.